Okay, a topic that I know nothing of, and this is the research I'm going to come up with. So thanks very much, guys, for being here. My topic is, there are over 10,000 varieties of grape in the world as we stand here, or sit here right now. And there are more being produced each day from a method called grafting, where they bring one grape into another grape and try and create another grape. But in the world of the wine industry, there are 6 noble grapes. There is the Cab Sauv, the Pinot Noir, and the Merlot. They're your 6 noble grapes. 3 noble grapes for the red. There are 3 noble grapes for the green as well, and they are the Chardonnay, they are the Sauvignon Blanc, and they are the Riesling. Riesling, how do you pronounce it? Riesling. So to the wine industry, there are 6. I went like that to see if anyone picked up, but no one did. So there are 6. The world is trying to change that, and they're saying there's about 18 now. But in the basic world of wines, there are only 6 of those 10,000 are classed as your noble grapes. So tonight I'm going to talk about a really important ingredient in the winemaking process that comes from those grapes. But first of all, let's talk about grapes. They're fantastic little fruit. We've all had them. We love pulling them off the vine, off the bunch, popping them in our mouths. And children love them, and I know they love them. 100% I know they love them. Because every time I used to go to the supermarket with my little boy in the shopping trolley, we'd go through the veg section, we'd pick up the grapes, put them in, the apples, the oranges. We'd come to the checkout, and I'd pick up that bag of grapes, and I'm thinking, there was a kilo in there when we started. Where's that other half a kilo gone? You cheeky little scoundrel. Anyway, so I added a few more, and then, geez, it weighs nothing. Anyway, so grapes are great. But the interesting thing about them is that when these things are dried and they become sultanas and they become raisins and they're mushed to make a wine, these grapes have a massive array of flavors and tastes and aromas. You just walk into any shop and see how many wines are out there. But I put it to you, if I was to blindfold any of you and give you 2 green grapes to taste, or 2 red grapes to taste, it would be very difficult for you to understand the difference between those 2 reds, those 2 greens, and in some cases, the difference you wouldn't be able to tell between a green and a red. So how is it that these grapes that taste pretty much similar can create these wines that taste like a rainbow of wine, the complete, from left to right, a 360 turnaround of flavors and tastes? That special ingredients I was talking about that makes that is the grape skin. The skin of the grape is the magic ingredients when it comes to winemaking. The first thing we think about when we think about wines and the grape skin is the color of the wine. Every wine made from the start is white. There's no red wine, it's white wine. And the reason for that is the juice of these grapes, whether it's the inkiest black grape or it's the whitest white grape, if you take away that skin and squash them, the juice of nearly every grape is a yellowy green color. So all wines start off as a white wine. It's only when they're introduced to the skin that they get their color. So this color has those pigments in it, which then the winemaker will adjust and twist and tweak to make the color of wine they wish to have. So wines will be red if they stay in the red skin. To put this as an example, there are now a couple of wines out there. I'll mention one of them is a Merlot. Everyone recognizes Merlot as a red wine. There is now white Merlot out there on the shelves. The most famous white wine that we all know of comes from France, and that white wine is Champagne. Champagne consists of 3 grapes. The grape Chardonnay, which is green. It also has Pinot Noir, which is red. And it also has Petit Meunier. I keep saying manure, but it's Meunier, I think it is. A very red grape. Champagne is made from 1 green, 2 red grapes, yet it produces a beautiful white, famous white sparkling wine. So there's the evidence that the color of the skin influences the color of the wine. Further to that then is the flavor. Have any of you ever peeled a grape and tasted the skin? It has a real earthy, sharp taste to it. Did you put your hand up? Yeah. You peel grapes, do you, when you eat them? That's a weird thing, Simon.
No.
Yes, if you peel them, that's great. Because it's, the skin contains these chemicals, it contains these flavonoids and aromatic molecular chains. And these are the things that when they're crushed and made up in the soup of the wine, when we're crushing them and we're getting that soup, these are released into the wine, and these flavors are released to create the type of wine that the winemaker wants. Again, exactly the same. That mush, by the way, that we call it, the soup that it's all crushed in, contains the grape, the skin, the seeds, and the stem. That information there is put together in a big soup, and that's called the must in the wine industry. That mess, that liquid is called the must. And the winemaker will decide when to take out that skin to get the flavor that they want. The interesting thing about this is, we mentioned earlier on that grapes taste very similar. How many times do you hear people say when they sup a glass of wine, that tastes like chocolate, tastes like licorice, tastes like smoked haddock? I don't know what they say it tastes like. But the question is, or the thought process is, if you can't tell the difference between two green and two red, how does this happen in the wine process? And it is the skin. It's releasing all those chemicals. Furthermore to that, then, there's the tannins. The tannins are how powerful or how sharp the wine is. We've all eaten a plum or something where it's not quite ripe, and you get that zingy taste in your mouth, on your palate. That's the tannins. Now, grapes are very clever because they use that so that animals don't eat the grape too early. Because if they eat the grape too early and go off and spread the seeds are not ready to germinate. So the grape creates a very strong tannin taste in its early before it's ripe, and as it becomes riper, the tannins drop away. Clever winemakers use that period of ripening to pick and harvest their grape when they need it for the type of tannin level that they need on their grapes. So there's a full-on science in this wine industry that I've only just found about through this research. So it's amazing that they actually are able to get these characters, and again, it's how long it's in that must, that soup. It all depends about that soup. And finally, there's one other thing on grapes. Sometimes you may see a grape with a white skin, a red grape with a white skin, and most people try and wash it thinking it's bad. That actually is called wild yeast. A wild yeast is an enzyme. Now, that is used again by winemakers very cleverly. Some winemakers will use a lot of grapes which have that white cloudy mist on them, and some will not. It enhances a different taste, and usually Italian wines come with the milky enzyme cover on them. So that's used predominantly in Italian wines in a particular area, but not, I don't think, in Australia particularly well. Not particularly often. So there you have it. Far from being a throwaway waste product, the skin of a grape probably determines the characteristics, the aroma, the taste, and the flavor of the wines you drink today. So all I can say is thanks very much, and let's say cheers to grape skins. Cheers, guys.